What is on top of the deck? What is on top of the deck? Oh, it's Lightning Helix! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Welcome to Hunt the Week.
Hello everyone and welcome into the show. Welcome on in, each and every one of you, all you white players, green players, black players, blue players, red players. Do they exist? I'm sure they do. I know they're out there and I'm looking for each and every one of you. Let's mix it up. Let's get some Grixis going, some Naya. Show me your shards. Show me your shards, please. You're saying to yourself right now, John, it's Monday. You don't release your episodes this early, and you're right, I don't. But we got a special bonus Player of the Year episode for you this week. So before we get to Dom U, before Dom U starts, we got a full Dom U episode coming out later. We're talking Player of the Year and everything about it. We're going to give you current standings. I'm going to give you a little bit about my experience, and then we're going to bring on somebody who's playing in the event right now. So without further ado, here's the kicker.
I'm the kicker. K-I-C-K-E-R.
So we are currently in Player of the Year. There are two pods. You got the Alpha Pod and you got the Omega Pod. Right now, Steve T leading the Alpha Pod with 4 wins. Ryan W has 2 wins. Oscar T has 2 wins. Richard K has 1 win. And Damien has 1 win. Johnny's 0-5 at the moment. Chris P is 0-1. And Cody hasn't gotten any games in yet. So everyone's kind of, won a couple, lost a couple, except for Steve. Steve's way out in first. Steve's having a great tournament so far. So good on you, Steve. And Johnny, not Johnny's scene this year, right? He had it last year. He's letting some other people have it this year, but 0-5 start. The only player eliminated at the moment is Johnny. Sorry to see you go. I tip you my cap on the way out, and I wave, and I wink, and I smile. And I smile at you, Johnny. And then we got the Omega Pod. Right now, Jake C is 1-3. John P is in the lead, 3-2, because I had an extra game win in a loss. Lost 2-1. So I'm currently getting up on tie breaks. Then they got Maxime 3-2, Adam 0-1, Sawyer 3-2, Emmett 3-2. Justin hasn't gotten in any games yet, and Daniel is 1-2. So basically, we got a big old mess of 3-2 players, and then everyone else is a little bit behind, mostly because they haven't gotten too many games in. How am I doing? 3-2. I'm currently in the lead, but I don't feel great about it. Honestly, had a pretty not great loss against Daniel today that had a misplay in it that I'm still not feeling great about. Gotta play a little tighter. Gotta tighten it up, John, and slow down. My mantra that I seem to always forget. I always tell myself, I need to remember to tell myself to slow down, and then you know what happens? I forget. I need to write it down on like a Post-it note and just put it everywhere. Slow down. Don't attack into Death Touchers. It's a bad idea. I'm enjoying the format. It's really fun. It's really great. The games are a little... everything's stressful, right? I just want to make this top 8 tournament. It's very stressful. I hope I do. Oh boy, I hope I do. It'd be great. But hey, it's been a long league, been a long year. I'm just happy to be involved. Not really sure how my name is up here with all these greats, these Sawyers, these Emmets, these Johnnies, these Richards. But hey, happy to be here. Happy to be involved. It's a fun tournament. Mega Draft's going to be this Sunday. Please watch. Please get involved. Please watch the streams. There's going to be a couple more happening throughout the week. I got 2 more games to play. Justin and Adam, I'm coming for you, so get ready. You better be bringing the heat, because I'm bringing the fire. Those things kind of match up, right? Heat and fire. Ooh. Oh boy, this bonus episode. Sorry, guys. And that's where we're for Player of the Year. We got to get some more games in. We're going to check back in on that later in the week in our normal Dom U episode, but this is Player of the Year special. So I had to talk to someone special, right? Someone who is important, someone who knows what it means to be Player of the Year. So why don't you join me while we enlist?
So we're all dog faces. We're all very, very different. But there is one thing that we all have in common. We were all stupid enough to enlist in the Army.
This week, I enlisted one Johnny M, last year's Player of the Year. This year, scrubbed out. Sorry about that. I can't help you with that, Johnny, but you play great Magic and you do great things, and I was really lucky and frankly had a wonderful conversation with him. Let's go ahead and listen to that now. Well, everyone, please join me as I enlist none other than 2021 Player of the Year, Johnny. Johnny, welcome to the show.
Hey John, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing good. It's Labor Day. I appreciate that. I like a holiday.
So, Johnny, I got to start it off like I do with everyone. When did you start playing Magic?
So I started collecting Magic in fall of 1994 with Fallen Empires, but then I only started playing about a year later.
Oh, so that's a long time, Johnny. What was the set that you think of as your first Magic set? Is it Fallen Empires or?
Well, that was definitely the first pack I opened, but I quickly switched to focusing on Revised. But then, yeah, I don't know. About a year later, maybe it was Ice Age was around when I was playing, and then I played throughout the '90s until sometime in Urza's block. Quit the game and then got back in around end of Time Spiral Lorwyn. And then I've been playing straight since then for like the last 14 or 15 years.
Oh man, what a good time. See, I missed a lot of those old sets and they sound really fun. I collected when I was a kid. I didn't play, but I collected. I remember getting Ice Age packs and my brother opened a Jester's Cap. And it was the card that was on the booster, right? And oh man, I was so jealous of him.
Yeah, that was cool. That was the chase card at the time. I remember the guy I knew who had it in the hard plastics with screws.
Yeah. Well, Johnny, I'm very interested in your Magic career because you're one of the people that I think has actually had a Magic career in the league. So I've heard rumors. You've played on the Pro Tour? I'd love to get some information about this.
Yeah, back in Konzatark here. Just one day, me and some friends, I got up like the earliest I gotten up in 10 years, piled into the car with some friends. We drove down to Burlington from Montreal and played in a big 120 person PTQ. And it was a long, good day of Magic. I'm really proud of how I played, how I built my decks that day. And when it was all said and done, I'd won the tournament and
oh my gosh,
punched a ticket to Washington D.C. for Pro Tour Fate Reforged.
Was that limited? That was a limited tournament?
No, that was a modern tournament.
Ooh, modern. What did you play?
I played Affinity.
Oh, yeah, cool.
I'm a strictly limited player. Up until that point, I'd played in one modern tournament before then. So a week before the Pro Tour, a friend lent me his deck. He gave me an hour-long crash course in Dunkin' Donuts after FNM. He took me over, taught me everything he knows in 1 hour.
That's insane because modern is so you got to know the format. You got to know how to sideboard. You got to know what everyone's doing to try to play around what they're doing. That's very impressive to do it on modern.
So in that case, Affinity is a very assertive deck.
Yeah,
and so. Yeah, I wasn't going to play a control deck. Knowing for that, Affinity, like I have my game plan. I'm going to try to execute. I'm going to try to win on turn 3 or turn 4, and don't need to worry too much about the metagame. And so what happened is 2 days after he lent me the deck, a week before the Pro Tour, my LGS was having a modern tournament. So I went and joined. There's 46 people. And I won the thing. And I'm like, all right, I'm a natural. This is easy.
Yeah, geez.
Then I went to the Pro Tour and ended up 1-7 on the day. And it was just like the worst day of Magic I've ever had in terms of bad hands, mulligans.
Yeah.
All my opponents hitting their sideboard cards on turn 2.
Rough.
And Affinity is... there's a very strong sideboard against it. And I just got destroyed. And at the end of the day, I'm sitting at the bottom tables. It's sorted by how well you're doing.
Oh yeah.
And everyone with me is all limited players who had won limited PTQs and got thrown into the deep end playing modern at the Pro Tour. And because I did so badly, I didn't make day 2. And I just got to go do tourist stuff around Washington, which I loved. And that was way better than playing in a Magic tournament.
I visiting the city. That sounds wonderful. Like, what an experience. Not only Konzatark here, what a great set, right? Like that one of Magic's greatest sets in the last, 10 years probably.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
And then like to be in Washington, D.C., playing with the pros. What a cool experience, man. Not a lot of people get to do something like that. That's very impressive, very awesome.
Yeah, and it's tough. Like being a strictly limited player, there's not a lot of opportunities to do that. There's maybe one GP a year that's in range, and then there's maybe one sealed PTQ a year. When they switched to the RPTQ system, there's only one of those a year.
Yeah.
So
and they don't have any of that stuff anymore, right? Like I don't even understand how you do it these days.
Yeah, there's a new system. I haven't quite figured it out.
Yeah, right. It's like the pro points are gone. I don't know what it is. I just play my Magic on Magic Arena now. I just hope that somehow works out.
Yeah, when I did it, it was easy. It was like a PTQ. You win it, you go to the Pro Tour. That's it. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, or like win it, spike a GP somehow. But at least I know you win a GP, you get an invite, right?
Yeah.
I miss GPs, man. Those were a good time. I hope those come back real soon. Well, you've had this moniker of Player of the Year for the last year. You've been the big dog. We got to talk about how this year's Player of the Year tournament's going and what it means to be Player of the Year in the Arena Sealed Gauntlet League. How's it going out there, Johnny?
I mean, do you want to talk about Shattered Tribes instead?
We can touch on it.
Okay, so Player of the Year, I'm 0-5.
I'm sorry. I sent you that question before I knew what your record was.
No, it's okay. Yeah, so I think my pool was I thought it was pretty bad when I was building it. And then when I saw everyone else's deck list, I'm like, okay, mine's really, really bad. So I'm trying to win some games. I've won a couple, but the matches are definitely tough. So I'm skewing aggressive, and I keep getting my opponents down to like about 4 life.
Oh,
and then just like not able to get there. If they just if they have nothing in their hands and I get 1 free turn, all right, I'll get there. If I like top deck the perfect card in the situation, I'll get there. But it's coming up short.
It's a hard format. I mean, the packs that were chosen, I mean, these are some busted decks, right? And these are some very strong cards in this Player of the Year. I had a real tough time building my deck myself. It really took me hours of looking at my pool and going through builds to try and pick one.
Because it's a very synergy focused cube, there's the cards are all over the place. A card can be totally unplayable for you if you don't have the pieces around it, or it can be a busted bomb.
Yeah.
And then there's some individual busted bombs in there, but who knows if you actually get them or not. And so I find there's a lot of variance in the cards and in the pools, compared to something like regular packs where with a regular pack, everyone gets 9 rares, and maybe 6 of yours are playable, or maybe 5 of yours are on color, but it kind of narrows the power band between everyone. But like with the cube, it's like, oh, maybe you have 50 rares and maybe he only has 20 rares, or maybe you got 10 of the really busted cards and someone else had 0 of the really busted cards.
Maybe you got 4 of that same planeswalker or something in that pool. I've seen some crazy pools out there, man. Some crazy
people with
stuff.
Like 3 planeswalkers. That's scary.
It's scary. But we can talk about Shattered Tribes for a second. That's going well, right? You're doing pretty good.
Yeah, that's
Shattered
great.
Tribes.
I'm at the top of the standings. Been at the top of the standings the whole time. I think I got my ticket to top 4 punched. Feeling good about that.
Oh, I'm in Shattered Tribes. I'm having a great time with it. It's a really fun set, and the gameplay has been really good. I'm really liking Shattered Tribes.
Yeah, so it's just funny to see like one of those events is going amazing for me, and the other one is as bad as can be. But if there's one thing I've learned over my Magic career, it's how to lose.
Right, you have to lose with grace.
Yeah, I've lost thousands and thousands of games, thousands and thousands of matches. So 05. It's more funny than
you got to let someone else win too, right? You can't be Player of the Year every year. Someone else has to take the crown.
I've had my run.
Yeah, exactly. You were the first one, and that alone is a feather in your cap. No one else can say they were the first Player of the Year. Johnny's the first Player of the Year.
But what it means to me. And one thing is I like to trash talk, so that's a lot easier to do when you're winning. And so I feel that gave me a lot of ammunition over the last year. Little moments to rub something in on someone, which I really appreciate.
You've always got that card in your back pocket, like, you better beat me, but are you Player of the Year? Because Well, I'm excited for Player of the Year. I'm in it right now. I'm 2-1. It's hard, man. These decks are hard. All these players are great. I think if you win 4, I think that means you're locked. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm doing all right in it.
Yeah, 4 kind of depends how the wins get distributed, and 4 could come down to tiebreakers. Even like 3 could win in a really unlikely scenario, but it's not clear. How do you find your build? Are you happy with it?
I'm fairly happy with my build. I'm playing a black-green graveyard deck with a bunch of self-mill, and I've got spider spawning in there and some cards I can cast from my graveyard. And I find that if I find my self-mill pieces, my deck clicks and runs really well. And if I just find kind of my filler creatures and removal and I don't really start milling myself, if I'm not doing my plan, my deck seems to falter a bit.
Yeah, that's definitely how the Tinkerer's Cube's supposed to work.
So it's like, I like my deck, but I'm learning that I really kind of need to mulligan aggressively for my early stuff that does what I need it to do and not just try to like hope to draw into my cards. But I'm enjoying it. I'm having a real good time with it. I think the decks are all really good. There's a lot of green out there. I've seen there's like 6 green players in my pod, I think.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, a lot of big old green creatures, but I'm enjoying it. It's a lot of fun, and I hope to make a draft, knock on wood.
Hopefully. And then that's going to be a completely different format, because then it's just actual Tinker's Cube draft, which is, that's kind of you're playing the cube the way it's supposed to, and that's going to totally change
those
how people approach
synergy.
it. And yeah, those decks are going to be all firing on all cylinders.
I can't wait to watch that. I love watching mega drafts, and this is going to be a real fun one to watch. And these games are going to be really, really interesting. So everybody out there, make sure you get to watch the mega draft for Player of the Year. See who's crowned Player of the Year for the next year as Johnny passes the torch onto somebody else. Well, Johnny, we finished Baldur's Gate, which was a polarizing league. There are people who loved it, people who hated it, and we're getting ready for Dom U to start up. Have you been doing any Dom drafts? Or do you have any advice or hot takes on this Dominaria format that's coming up?
Yeah, well, I've been playing it a little bit, not too much, so I'm still definitely learning what it's about. But for the league, I think so. This league is going to be very vanilla, all the basic rules.
I love that.
And I think the one thing is for your punishment pack, you can open anything in standard. And that actually used to be the default rule for a long time. And it's only recently that's been changing to other things. So one piece of advice is just stick to Dom packs.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah, I think opening other stuff is a trap. You might see some people trying to open Vow to chase some of the bomb rares, or maybe they're in white green, so they go to SNC to get some of those good commons. But I think there's powerful cards in Dominaria,
Yeah.
and chasing them elsewhere means if you don't hit them, you also don't get any synergy pieces. Where if you just stick with Dominaria, no matter what, like by the time you have 12 boosters of something, even if you don't have strong cards, your deck's going to do something.
Yeah.
And I think it's pretty rare that someone should consider going out of set.
That's some great advice, because I was wondering myself, I was like, is this the time where it's, because I've done a few drafts and I haven't figured out the power level of Dom U yet. Like, it's definitely a good format and I'm enjoying it, but I don't know if it's a strong format, So is it the kind of thing where Val's got those busted rares? So do you try to go for that and go for blood tokens? I'm very excited for this league. This looks like it's going to be a really fun format. The games I've been playing have been the archetypes. There's a lot you can do in this set, and that's the kind of thing I like. Just variety, a lot of variety out there.
I definitely like having the basic land cycle. I think that gives a lot of play, and that's going to help make the league interesting. And actually, that's a strong reason for staying with Dominaria packs.
Yeah,
because I think having a common basic land cycle really does add a lot of value to the packs, and it will let you play the good stuff you open, and gives you flexibility in your deck building.
Yeah, I think it's
and I think at the end of the league, we're going to see some really strong domain decks. Once people have they're running 15 or maybe sometimes 20 land.
Oh yeah, I've seen packs with 3-4 lands in them. So there could be pools there at the start of it have more than 10 dual colored lands already. So some people are going to get real lucky. Some people are going to be real sad. Kind of like SNC. SNC had those lands that, like, if you open a lot of them, your fixing was just great. You can kind of do whatever you wanted to. And if you didn't hit, the right lands, you were kind of a sad person in SNC.
Yeah, and I think in Dominaria there's twice as many lands as SNC.
Yeah.
So we're going to see even more of that. And the payoffs are really good. Some of the domain payoffs.
Yeah, and Kicker's spread across all colors, right? So it's like you want to have a white source in here. Maybe if you're not even in white, just to maybe hit a kicker cost here and there. I'm very excited. I'm really liking this format. I'm doing my drafts and I'm loving these like all spells decks. Oh, that's my thing, man. I'm having so much fun.
Yeah, and I think all the legendary creatures are really interesting. I like Enlist a lot.
Enlist is real fun.
I like combat mechanics, and so Enlist is a good one. And they don't do too many of those anymore, so it's nice to see that.
Well, Johnny, you always do well in the leagues. You're a great player. You've got all these accolades. You're crushing Shattered Tribes right now, and everyone's watching you with bated breath to see if you're going to take home that top 4. Any guesses on what your record's going to be in Dominaria United?
Well, I haven't got my pool yet, so this is a pretty wild guess. But
yeah.
I'm going to say I usually do maybe around 15-11, 16-11. I'm not in the most top 8 race, but I think I'm tied for second for most top 16s.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can hang in there. See, I'll go with 15 or 16 wins.
That sounds, that sounds like a pretty good guess. I'm always seeing your name right up there. You're always, right up at the top. So I think that's a really good spot for you. I could totally see that happening and coming true.
All right. Hopefully. Well, I would do better than that, but we'll go for at least.
Yeah.
At least
you know what? You're going to go what? 20 and 10? Yeah, you're going to go 20 and 10. No problem. No problem, Jeff.
Yeah, right.
Well, Johnny, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate talking to you. I know everyone in the league really looks up to you. It's kind of, a player who's really had a lot of experience and someone who always gives really good advice. I know that you've given me advice before, and I take it to heart, and I don't know. I respect you a lot as someone in the league and as a player. So thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, John. I really appreciate being brought on. I love the podcast. This is great.
Hey, no problem, man. I'm glad you like it. We'll have to get you on again soon. And hey, good luck in Shattered Tribes and good luck in Dom U.
Thanks, and good luck to you in the Player of the Year.
Thank you.
Hope you get the crown.
Hey, we'll see. Fingers crossed. All right. Bye, Johnny.
All right. Cheers.
Keep your eyes peeled for the Player of the Year, games as they're played. Try to tune in for the Mega Draft. It's going to be on Sunday, probably, unless they change it, but it's probably Sunday. And just have a good time. Get ready for Dom U. Johnny had some nice takes on the format, huh? Take only Dom packs. I like it. Don't go chasing those VOW, monster picks, monster rares. Take all Dom. Play 5-color, domain and kicker. That seems to be a really fun thing to do. And get some drafts in. Get ready. I like the set. I'm coming around on it. Wasn't so sure at first, but it's starting to make me smile. And these games and these archetypes, I'm into it. So I'm here for Dom U. I'll have another episode later in the week where I talk to Chris York about Dominaria's rules and mechanics. Until then, please keep a good 7. And I hope that the shuffler is in your favor. Bye, everybody.